There are 4 academies, that's the one I'm going to edit. So essentially we have pages of information, which are the pages that we've been looking at so far as I go through as a user, and pages are made up of blocks. Now if I take a look at the list of blocks that have been created, there's a list of all the blocks. In fact, these are the ones that I've made in here. If I want to see the ones that member of staff Matthew Serbin has made, those are his, and I can click through and see what's going on there. But here's the types of blocks that we're allowed. There are HTML, images, movies, you've seen all of those. There's a YouTube block where you can embed a YouTube movie. A download block where you can provide a zip file that the users can grab. There's a link. There's an icon, which is those warning signs. Then here are the important ones. There's response blocks. You've just seen multiple choice. You can have the user respond with text or with a checkbox. And I'll show you an example of those in a moment. Then there's a Google Maps block, and the list of blocks will increase over time as I add to the Academy software, and we can develop it in time. It's a hosted service, so updated code is always available, and you don't have to worry about hosting or maintaining the code base in the databases. What I want to do is show you how easy it is to make a lesson. So if I add a new page, I'm going to call this example page. I'm going to make it active straight away. Let me construct this. So in constructing this page, those are all the blocks I've made recently. So I recognize that one, I'll have that. I actually want my movie blocks. I'll put that movie in there. Let me go for a YouTube block, if there are any. Our customers, yeah, I'll throw that in. I'll put that at the top actually. Now if I preview this, there's the YouTube block, there's the HTML block, and that is the movie block created as a movie.
This movie
that was a screencast and locally, so it's not YouTube. Now if I hit publish now, what's going to happen is it's saying here that this is not current, meaning it's not available for anyone to see. If I publish, page published, it says it's just been published. It was edited 17 seconds ago by me, and if I refresh that page now, it will say that it's now current. Excellent. Now if I go back to construct this and take something away and go back to the preview, as we can see, my published version is still set in stone. Although I've just made an edit to the content of this lesson, I published it, which means I drew a line under the changes and presented that to my users by publishing it. The fact that this is now no longer current means that I have edited it since it was published. There's no danger that the users can see my half-edited lesson. They will only ever see the most recently published version of this lesson, and that's very useful. It's also at this point where I can show you that the blocks, creating pages out of building blocks if you like, is a very efficient way for rapid change. Going back to our car maintenance example, if I had a block that was an image block of how to open the hood of a car, the bonnet, and it was a picture of where the catch is, I could include that image block in a lesson for how to change the oil, how to check the water, and how to top up the brake fluid. That block can be reused 3 times. If I update the car's model and change that picture, because it was reused in 3 lessons, by changing the block itself, my change is reflected across the entire content that uses that block. And that's very important, certainly for a company like Redtie, whose software changes very rapidly. They can update their entire learning content by only editing the blocks and the images and the movies that are relevant to that change. So if I go through to their blocks here and I'll look for an image, it was uploaded by, let's see what this image looks like. There, so that's a graphic of the what they call the image library tool. Now if that screen grab should change, all they need to do is change this one picture here, and the change is reflected across their entire software. So just before I close off, and I'm going to show you the activity that I created as I logged in as the user earlier. If I look for the users and the activity, what we'll see, and there we are, that's me as a user, it will show us here that at 5 minutes to 5 at this date I logged in and took a look at Welcome to the Academy. And if you'll remember from earlier in the movie, I clicked this twice, I went through these lessons, and then I eventually ended up on the basic level test. So it's logging everything I do, the times and how long I spend on this. Now Redtie use this information to great effect when people request support. If they email or call and say, I just don't know how such and such works, what they're able to do is come in here and find out, well, did you ever try to learn from the Academy how that works? So if I call in and have a problem with buttons, branding of buttons, that page there, we'll see that Matt Serbin likes that lesson, Richard Kilduff has taken a look, but no one else has. So it's either deeply unpopular or not relevant or not important. The usage of that lesson is very low, and as we'll find, if someone calls in with a support query regarding buttons, Redtie can choose whether or not to support them by finding out whether they've actually tried to learn themselves to solve their own problems. So the other thing I did, if you remember, was I took that test. So let's take a look at the response forms, and as we'll see, at 3 minutes past 5 I took that test. Let's see how I did. If I click through, there are no notes. So the response there, I got the first one right, so I got number 3 wrong, number 4 wrong, and then it just gets worse. So in the back-end tools here, as a member of staff, I'm able to see the score, how I did in the test, and I can remove this or see what other responses I've done. So I've filled in plenty of stuff. But as other users, if I go to list the users, let me see, Adam Fowles logged in 8 hours ago. Let's take a look at Adam. Let's have a look at his responses. So he's taken the test early in the morning, very early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning he took this test, and 1 wrong, 2, 3 questions wrong. So he got 17 out of 20. He must have passed, and therefore he received, so I can say he passed, upgrade his account. There you go, so I'll add that note. And that's me. So hopefully what you've seen here, it's been a very brief explanation and presentation of the Academy software, but you saw that as a user my activity is monitored. I'm able to feed back, and it's a social way for me to learn. It's all online and my progress is monitored, and we can actually quantify how good I am at learning with tests and other forms of input that the user is able to feed back or respond with. All that sounds very difficult to set up. You can imagine that you don't want to be building those web pages or those the ability for that to happen. So in the back end, what I've shown you here is that you simply put lessons together with building blocks, and the creation of the building blocks is very simple. It's as slick as I can make it, and I'll endeavour to make the user experience in the back end faster and better as time passes and the product matures further than it is already. But we already have Redtie using it with over 700 users. They have logging in here and learning that way. How many members of staff have they got contributing to this? So let's see. Redtie have what's that, 10 members of staff provide the content in here, and I logged in 10 minutes ago, as you can see. Richard Kilduff 5 hours ago, Dominic Leclerc 4 months ago, so he's not so busy in here. I might ask him what he's up to. And they've all got different permissions. They're able to copy and edit and publish and build. So for example, Tony Welsh here, he has no admin access, so he can't check out lists of users and things. So as a tool, it has everything you can imagine you would need to maintain a list of users, monitor their progress, and instruct them and allow them to have a certain social aspect to their learning amongst themselves. And what Redtie are hoping, and what I hope for the Academy software, is they will start to learn from each other as well as learn from the content that you can put in here. I think as a 15-minute presentation, that's probably enough for now. I can answer individual questions if you'd like, or provide a more in-depth example of how to go about maintaining this, what to do and how it works, and what the proposition might be. If you have any questions, I will copy this on an email and allow you to get back to me. Thank you very much.